In pole position, Carl Fogarty on the Honda. Very, very quick today. Very, very quick in practice on Friday. On to Jamie Whittam in second position. Number 69, look for Jamie Whittam. Come back to form this year. He's been struggling all year long. He's getting quicker and quicker. Certainly not getting any prettier, so we'll move on to Rob McElnay, number 19 there on the Loctite Yamaha. Rob had a superb race at Monza in the Superbike rounds, both legs in the wet, so perhaps he's ready for any kind of conditions here at Kirkiston, but for a change, it's very, very hot and sunny, which is great stuff. Trevor Nation, 6th place on the grid, looking to do the work for the Norton. There's number 5, Trevor Nation, on the outside of the grid. Dave Leach with his hand in the air. He's got a problem. They're waiting for the lights. They've done their 2 laps warm-up now. Dave Leach got a problem with his bike. The marshals are holding the start of this race up. And he's ready into gear. We're looking Calibre Senior, race 1, 12 laps. Watching the lights. Trevor Nation on the Norton on the outside. Watch for the black Norton. It's very fast, and they're off. And we're in for an absolute cracking race here. Carl Fogarty gets a really, really quick start, but it's the Norton of Trevor Nation, number 5, steams into the lead, as we would have expected, straight away down towards Colonial. Trevor Nation, a very determined man, had terrible trouble with suspension problems in practice, but he's gone back to the setting he started with on Friday, and it looks to have worked. Carl Fogarty, fastest man in practice, and McElnay sticks it right up the inside. McElnay's looking to not let these boys get away. Roger Marshall, what would be your tactics in this circumstance?
Well, we've seen 2 great races over the last 2 years at Kirkiston of the big senior races, and Rob McElnay there just made a terrible mistake at the chicane. Whether he got pushed out or not, I don't know, but he worked his way up to second, and now he's dropped back to about 6th, and it's let a gap open up for Nation and Fogarty, following them both into the hairpin.
Yeah, McElnay found himself out on the curbs and in a bit of a trouble at the chicane. Dave Leach made capital of that. McElnay's not going to let him get off, though.
I think McElnay there, Keith, has dropped back into about 10th place.
Jamie Whittam in 4th, Brian Morrison in 5th. Jamie Whittam now making the move. Dave Leach back there, number 7. Watch for Dave Leach, a man in form here at Kirkiston. Carl Fogarty looking for the inside line into Colonial. Not a chance this time round. Trevor Nation has got this race covered at the moment. He's certainly a man determined to make his mark on this race. Fogarty looks for the inside of Colonial and snatches the lead from Nation. Nation just ran a little bit wide there. Found it. Oh, and Fogarty sits up at Fisherman's. This is going to be a major race into the chicane. Fogarty, Nation, Whittam, Leach, Morrison, McElnay, and it's very, very close, and we're going to be in for an absolute cracking race here. Down the back straight, down towards the hairpin on the brakes. Carl Fogarty is superb here on the brakes, but so is Trevor Nation. He is not messing around today. I've not seen Trevor Nation look this determined for a while. Carl Fogarty, number 4, leading this Calibre Senior race, 1 over 12 laps. He's got a little way to go, but he's got it in control at the moment.
It certainly looks to me, Keith, that Carl is holding that advantage, and Rob can't make any inroads into Jamie Whittam at the moment.
Yeah, but all the action is back for 4th and 5th and 6th place, with Robert Dunlop closing up the gap. There's McElnay, number 19, in 3rd place on the Loctite Yamaha. Superb ride for Blake, a man back on form. Obviously, it's very hard for a man that's retiring backwards from Grand Prix career, so it's nice to see him taking such a determined effort here.
Yeah, I noticed on the grid there, when he was talking to his mechanic, Rob McElnay, Keith, that he was shaking his head. I'm not sure if he was happy with something or whether they got the wrong compound tyre on, but that could have been the slide he had. He could have had the wrong tyre, or the bike's not quite right, but it certainly set the pace in practice, as we saw.
Carl Fogarty enters his last lap now. Carl Fogarty, number 4 there, the last lap flag. And there we are, 69 in 2nd place, Jamie Whittam. 3rd place, Rob McElnay, number 19 there. Brian Morrison, number 2, forces his way through to 4th place from number 5. Trevor Nation, the leading Norton from Robert Dunlop, number 11. Carl Fogarty through the chicane. He has got the race in the bag. He doesn't make too many mistakes. I hope I don't open my mouth too soon. He is making a very, very stylish ride there through Fisherman's and into the chicane. Now, number 4, Carl Fogarty, race leader on his last lap. Jamie Whittam there, 69, closely followed by Rob McElnay, really trying to force his way further forward. Superb stuff from all 3 of these men.
It'll be interesting, Keith, here that now Robert's got right up with Trevor Nation to see if that Robert will make a determined effort at the very final corner at the hairpin and hold the Irish pride.
Well, there we are. Our man Carl Fogarty on the Honda, a big wheelie out of the hairpin there, coming to the line for a race win. Carl Fogarty wins, number 4 from Jamie Whittam, number 69 from Rob McElnay, number 19. So that's the first 3 in the Calibre Senior Race 1 over 12 laps. Cole Fogarty, race winner.
Well, I think it's fair to say that you...
Rob McElnay ready to get a real quick start. There's the Drambuie Honda for Brian Morrison. And the start again. Trevor Nation gets a superb start on the Norton. Number 5, Trevor Nation. But again, Cole Fogarty gets an absolute flyer into Deppers Dip. I don't know what he's had for breakfast, but he has been going for it all day long from the start. The man has made the race from the start line position. And they're all into Colonial nice and safely. Not a problem there. Cole Fogarty leads, again from Rob McElnay, again from Jimmy Whittam, number 69 in 3rd place, and again from number 2, Brian Morrison. Trevor Nation, number 5. Through Fisherman's, down to the chicane for the first time. Cole Fogarty had his hands full with Rob McElnay last time and couldn't do anything about it when Rob McElnay made his way by. What's he got in answer this time? Has he made any changes, Roger Marshall?
I don't think so, Keith. I think Jamie Whittam has just actually passed Rob down the straight. Rob did confirm the Hondas have been a little bit quicker this year, but I think Rob will be happy to be right up there. He said that he was worried about the starts. In the first race we did saw him go astray, but in the second one he made no mistake. I think Rob will be happy where he is, but once again Robert Dunlop has made a very bad start.
Well, yeah, Robert was practicing his starts before this race down the back straight. I noticed from the commentary position that he was actually trying to get the thing off the line. He's had a bit of a struggle with that. No such trouble for this man, Cole Fogarty. He is extending his lead. He is really going to wind up the wick on this particular occasion. Rob McElnay, he doesn't want to let Fogarty get away too far, but he did seem to have something in hand earlier on. Roger Burnett there, number 9, in a 7th position. That's much better. Roger Burnett has been struggling all day, and here he is behind number 17,
Philip McCallum.
Roger Burnett. Now, I've seen Roger. He's struggled a bit all year long. He doesn't seem to get wound up until towards the end of the day. This is the last race of the day, effectively, on the programme. The Calibre Senior Race 2. He's got 12 laps to get it together in. We're only on lap 2 now, coming up to lap 3, and Roger Burnett has a bit of work to do.
Yeah, he's got a lot of work to do, Keith, but he is looking better. He's made a better start. He's had a bad year by his standards, so let's hope that Roger can put it all together and do a bit. But look at this tussle at the front. There's Fogarty, there's McElnay, there's Whittam, and followed by Trevor Nation. Now, we saw Fogarty take off in an earlier race today, and he opened the gap, and Rob couldn't do anything about it, and Jamie came second. Now, is that gap going to be closed by Rob? We'll know in the next 2 laps whether he can pull him in or not.
Cole Fogarty leads Rob McElnay from Jamie Whittam, and a better ride here from Trevor Nation as well. He is really on the charge. Roger Burnett goes through there.
Sorry there, Keith. I'm just putting in. I noticed Patrick Vangerberg. He's right up there, just behind Roger Burnett. He's in 5th, 6th, 8th position, I believe.
8th position, and we have to point out on a 250cc motorcycle, he holds the lap record with a 250cc lap record. Well, certainly in this race, we're on lap 7 now. Certainly on this race, there's no messing about with these front 2. Jamie Whittam, who looked very good all the way through, and here we have, and the Drambuie Honda of Brian Morrison sweeps round the outside of Trevor Nation, number 5, on the Norton there. Norton not having the best of days, I've got to say. Trevor Nation has been the best man out of the 3 Norton runners of Robert Dunlop and Steve Spray. Steve Spray, British champion, hasn't really featured at all. We've not seen him do very much at all, I should say. British champion of last year, of course.
Yeah, Steve Spray last year, British champion, Keith. It is a shame to see the Nortons a bit further down the field than they were last year. They were certainly making progress last year, and for some reason this year things just hasn't gone well for the team.
Here we are, back with the leaders. On the end of lap 7, McElnay cruising around. Just and look at Cole Fogarty turning the power on over the bumps at Kirkiston. That is notorious just there. Crosses the line, onto lap 8, through Deppers Dip. McElnay looks composed and smooth and no trouble with the motorcycle at all. Cole Fogarty, characteristic of Cole Fogarty, looks like he's trying extremely hard, making the bike twitch under braking and under power delivery. Down to the chicane now, onto the back straight. And McElnay looks so smooth, doesn't he? That's Fisherman, sorry, now down to the chicane. And up on the curves, McElnay was taking all of the road and a bit more. Cole Fogarty, number 4, leads Rob McElnay, number 19, who is followed by 69 Jim Whittam, Brian Morrison, number 2, Trevor Nation in 5th place, bringing up the rear. Back with the leaders, Carl Fogarty off the end of the back straight on lap 8, completes lap 8 onto lap 9 of this 12-lap race. Oh, and dear me, he is really getting it onto the white line. Great crossing. I should think that at any moment now, Roger, Rob McElnay is going to look for a way past, because it's all getting just a little bit squirmy at the front.
Well, the thing is, Keith, I mean, that is Carl's style, to really get on the gas hard. Rob is trying, and the more Carl stays out in the front, the tougher he's going to make it for Rob getting past, because he won't want to release that lead straight away. But Rob is getting very, very close again before they go down the back straight, so he's obviously going to try and catch his slipstream and come out of that and maybe go through on the brakes at the hairpin.
Well, Rob looks certainly the smoother of the two on the Yamaha. The Yamaha might be a bit down on power, but Carl Fogarty is not going to make it easy. Certainly Rob McElnay is not in any position to pass here on the straight. He doesn't have the power of the Honda, perhaps. It's the Yamaha just a little bit slower. But Rob Mac looks like the smoother man, and certainly to me would look to have a little bit in hand. We're on the end of lap 9 now, on to lap 10. And Carl has a good look over him, slightly smoother delivery of power there onto the straight. Here we are, down to Deppers Dip. Fast left-hand turn. Followed up by Jamie Whittam, number 69 in third. Brian Morrison trailing with the Drambuie Honda. The Norton of Trevor Nation through there, number 5. Oh, and back with the leaders, and look at this. McElnay's going to make a move any moment. McElnay is looking even round the outside.
These two are trying very, very hard. Even Rob's now looking a little bit out of shape.
Well, that's for sure. Carl Fogarty, Michelin shod. Rob McElnay, Dunlop shod. On these short races, the Dunlop has proved to be very, very advantageous on these shorter, tight, colder race meetings. But having said that, the Michelin is not a bad tyre. Carl Fogarty has a little bit of power in him. But look at McElnay on the brake. Oh, my God. That was as if he just didn't bother to brake at all. Runs a little bit wide as he completes lap 10. Fogarty still leads on lap 10. Into lap 11 now. Well, this is an amazing race. I've got to say that it is a head-to-head battle between these two. I have got the feeling they are going to make contact fairly soon. Rob McElnay, every which way is looking, takes a nice wide turn into Colonial 1. Colonial 2 here, gets the power on Squestion. Is he going to make a move into Fisherman's? He's been very good here every time. Perhaps he's going to try at the chicane. We just do not know. We can only speculate.
This is fantastic race, Keith. I mean, they're both trying on the limit. Carl's going to prove that he can win this second leg. Rob's out to stamp his authority. He doesn't want to lose this. He wants to go home a winner. And they're both. I mean, Carl is such an aggressive rider as we come down the back straight once again.
Well, I think, and Rob Mac, I'm sure he's going to make the move here. He has looked good every time on the brakes here. Oh, and he closes the door on Carl Fogarty. Very, very experienced. Very, very good manoeuvre. Gets it a little bit sideways on the old power there. Carl Fogarty, I don't think we'll have an answer to that now, Rob McElnay. We're on to our last lap. Superbly timed and brilliant manoeuvre there from Rob McElnay. And Fogarty goes through at Deppers Dip. A brilliant and brave manoeuvre. Great stuff indeed. McElnay looks for the inside line at Colonial and gets it up the inside line. Can Fogarty squeeze down? Oh, I'm without words for the way these two are going for it here, Roger Marshall.
That was absolutely unbelievable, Keith. I mean, very unusual move from Rob as well. We saw him come down the outside and then cut across Carl at the hairpin. And then Carl dived back across the start and finish and under the left-hander. This is coming up for the final time down the back straight. I'll hand over to Keith Owen for the last excitement to this race.
Well, I just don't know which way this is going to go, but McElnay definitely has got the advantage down off the back straight into the hairpin. He's been better on the brakes every time than Carl Fogarty, so unless McElnay makes a big mistake now, we are going to see McElnay on the Yamaha take the second race of the day, the Calibre Senior Race 2, over 12 laps. McElnay leads to the line with Carl Fogarty in second place. And in third place is Jamie Whittam, who's got a little way to go yet before he gets to the line. And in fourth is Brian Morrison.
Well, I've got the two men with me. Rob, breathtaking stuff.
Yeah, it was quite exciting under the helmet. You know, we had some good fun out there. Carl was riding good. And it's a little bit easier when you're behind to dog someone back, you know. And I knew if I passed him early, he would probably come back. So I know it looked more calculated than probably what it was, but I left it till the end.
It's called timing.
Yeah, but it was a good race, and I'm sure it worked good on TV.
It certainly did. Yeah. And both of you really on the limit.
Yeah, we was both sliding around. Carl maybe a bit more than me, especially coming onto the start and finish straight.
We noticed.
Yeah. And I was sort of grinning underneath my helmet a little bit when he's getting out of shape. But my bike worked really good. Just a little bit off the edge down the straight, but I think as a package it worked better than Carl's.
Carl, disappointed at losing, but what a dice.
Yeah, it was fantastic. Like, I really enjoyed it. Like Rob said, his bike just seemed to be handling that a little bit better than mine, but mine was better on top end speed, so it's evened out a little bit.
Yeah, were you disappointed with that because you had the more speed?
Yeah, but you know, like I said, like Norton's off even more speed, but you know they don't win it. You still got to ride, and you still got to get them around the corners, like, you know.
Right, gentlemen, thank you very much for all the entertainment.
Enough in... So then, the first race of the day, the senior race, 12 laps, and it's that man, John Reynolds, who's absolutely flying. Brian Morrison, though, gets the whole shot. Brian Morrison, Kawasaki team leader, in front of the moment of Rob McElnay. Well, McElnay didn't get a very good practice, qualified somewhere in third place, says he can go a lot faster, we shall see. But at the moment, it's last year's Sunflower winner, Brian Morrison, in the lead. In fourth place is his teammate and fastest man of the weekend so far in practice, John Reynolds. But Morrison leads from McElnay. From 21 there, that is Jim Moody, qualified in fifth place. Jim Moody, the Scotsman, going extremely well. Oh, and a big get off there from a Kawasaki. That looks like a Kawasaki down. Well, that could well be John Reynolds. Yes, it is John Reynolds then, on the floor. We wait to see what happens here. No doubt they'll stop this race, I would think. So, a disaster. John Reynolds there with an injured left ankle by the look of it. But I can tell you, out of my commentary position here, we're still flying with Morrison leading. McElnay in second place. Third is still Jim Moody. And they don't know what's happened, but remember, they went through the chicane a long time before Reynolds jumped off. So, John Reynolds, a disaster for the fastest man so far this weekend. But it's Morrison, his teammate, leading for Kawasaki still from Loctite Yamahas. Rob McElnay. They are now coming round towards... There's the yellow flag, but no red flag. So the chicane then, this is where it happened for Reynolds. This will be the first time these boys know of any accident. McElnay gets the drive out of the chicane, onto the straight, down towards the hairpin. McElnay gets underneath the Kawasaki of Morrison, who's good on the brakes, both these men I can tell you. But it's McElnay who takes the lead just from Brian Morrison. Morrison cuts tight, cuts very, very tight, but McElnay holds it a tight line out onto the straight. So McElnay now leads on the Loctite Yamaha. He said he had something extra, and sure enough, he finds himself in front of the Kawasaki of Morrison. McElnay holds the outright lap record here for the 750. But they were, the front 4 or 5 riders in practice were all under that lap record in testing. So really and truly, I expect the lap record to be shattered in this race. Moody in third, Jim Moody in third. We look for the big gap back down to fourth place now. Simon Crafar is the fourth place man. Crafar a long way back. But it's McElnay who leads this race from Brian Morrison in second place, bike number 6, Kawasaki, but Jim Moody hanging on in there in third. So McElnay runs a little wide at the hairpin, out onto the start and finish straight. So Rob McElnay comfortably leading this race. An absolute walkover, comparatively, as far as we expected this race to be. Rob McElnay into Fisherman. Brian Morrison still in second place, but really not in a close enough position. They will have 2 laps to go at the end of this one. We look back for Jim Moody. Jim Moody is in third place still. That's your front 2. Brian Morrison there on the Kawasaki, number 6. He saw his teammate laying in the grass when he came round for lap 2. But that won't concern him at this time. McElnay then, at the hairpin. Rob McElnay blasts out of the hairpin onto the start and finish straight. And starts. Now 2 laps to go for McElnay. Likewise, Brian Morrison in second place. Third place is still Jim Moody. Number 33 is still Simon Crafar. We look back. 4th is Paul Brown. 5th is McCallum now. Johnny Ray is in 6th. Derek Young is in 7th. And Matt Llewellyn drops to 8th. That is the race order with 2 laps to go. McElnay, Morrison at the chicane. One more time for that particular part of the track.
and McElnay will have it in the bag. Well, the style of Rob McElnay, the experienced ex-Grand Prix man on the Loctite Yamaha, taking the hairpin and blast out onto the start and finish straight to start his last lap. Brian Morrison in second place there. Kawasaki man number 6 has no answer whatsoever to the Yamaha's ride. McElnay through Detters onto Colonial. Well, the man reputed to give the biggest slipstream on the circuits. He's a big man, and he's very, very fast here at Kirkiston this year. The sun's brought out the best in him. He qualified in 3rd place. He said he could do better. Here he is already stamping his authority over this meeting in the sunshine. McElnay for the last time at the chicane, onto the back straight. Has a quick look over his shoulder to see where Morrison is. That won't worry him. Morrison is far enough behind not to be a problem. There's McElnay to the hairpin. Gently breaks down. Watch for the man over the line. He's going to take this win in fine style from Brian Morrison. So then, your race order at the end of the 12 laps was number 1, Rob McElnay. From number 6, Brian Morrison. Jim Moody did finish 3rd. Simon Crafar 4th. McCallan finished 5th.
It's a bumpy track around here. My bike's working pretty good, and what happened was in the early stages, second or first lap, I don't know, John fell down and Brian sort of went through there really cautiously, and I got a good drive on him, and then I managed to just get, I think he's maybe just worried about John for a second, and I kept my head down and just got a break, and the bike was working really well. It's been since October last year for a win, so I've had to come back to Kirkiston to get a win, but it's good.
Yeah, as Rob said, I think John, my teammate, went down at the chicane on the first lap, and the flags were waving as we came around the second time. I just slowed off a bit too much because I thought there might be debris or oil on the track, and Rob got the drive on me up the back straight, and once he got in front, it was pretty close, but he just managed to keep that distance and beat me to the flag. But my bike's going great. I'm sure we're going to be first in one of the 2 races to go.
So then the start of the second Superbike race, and an absolute flyer for Jim Moody. Well, they didn't stop racing for people creeping on the line earlier on today, so there's no reason why they should stop this one. Good news is that John Reynolds, the man who crashed out on the first lap of the first race, is out in this one. So what's the bike number 8? But it's Brian Morrison who forces his way through to the front row. So Brian Morrison then at the front, Jim Moody in second place. We look back down the grid. McElnay is 4th there, Reynolds is 5th. Looked like McCallum was 6th. So then Moody, 33, Dowell, 33. As I jump out of my seat, there is Simon Crafar in 3rd place. So it's Crafar, not McCallum. But at the front is Brian Morrison, last year's Sunflower winner. Moody is in second place. McElnay goes through now on the inside of Crafar. 11 laps to go then. Brian Morrison at the front of the field. A very, very intelligent rider. So the Scotsman is bound to try and take as much of a lead out as he can on this race at the early stages. Moody in second place, Crafar third, McElnay 4th. Through Colonial 1, through Colonial 2, out towards Fisherman's Bend. And look at McElnay. Well, McElnay determined to take every bit of tarmac he can. There's McCallan, number 9. So McCallan back in something like 6th place, if my counting is correct. Two laps to go then. Morrison from McElnay. Where will McElnay make the charge? Where will McElnay make the pass? It could be here at Colonial. He looks good here every lap. Morrison's got it covered this time. Morrison makes a Kawasaki's rear end squirm through Fisherman's and on towards the chicane. Now then, Rob McElnay is very, very good through this chicane, and it could be an outbreaking manoeuvre at the hairpin at the end of this next straight. They make the bikes scream. 13,000 RPM from these bikes. Down towards the hairpin. McElnay superb on the brakes, as is Morrison on the Kawasaki. I think that McElnay is going to make the move at Colonial. We wait to see. This is the last lap. They are crossing the line now to start their last lap. Morrison leads McElnay. McElnay is going to make the move, I think, at Colonial. That is through Debtors. Here is Colonial. Yes, McElnay goes through. I thought he might make it there, and he made Morrison sit up. Morrison then, can he make any kind of comeback at the hairpin? That's the question. More back markers. They're not going to be a problem for these boys, though. There's McElnay into the chicane. Morrison is right behind him. Morrison is going to have to use all his skill at the end of this straight if he's going to get this place. I don't think he's going to do it. Back markers in their sights. Well, that could really throw the cat amongst the pigeons, but I think McElnay's got it covered. Brian Morrison is going to finish second unless McElnay makes a mistake, and that it will be unusual. So, on to the start and finish straight. Rob McElnay is going to take his second race win of the day from Brian Morrison on the Kawasaki. A great race indeed, albeit a little short of runners at the front.
Quite a few of the most exciting overtaking manoeuvres have happened today at the hairpin, but you tried it a little bit earlier in the lap.
Well, Brian, I know Brian's pretty hot on the brakes. Oh, this is it here. I got a good run around the corner here. I think probably Brian went in a bit hot. And once you get up the inside there, there's not a lot you can do, really.
So it was obviously perfectly timed, and it certainly sets up the Sunflower meeting quite perfectly.
Yeah, Brian's obviously riding really well, and my bike's working really good today. I don't know, it's just a little bit late in the year for it to start coming good, but I'm pleased to get some money in the bank.
Seats for the Sunflower have been well and truly sown. It's the finale. They're ready. So's Keith.
Thanks to UTV's guru of style, Mark Robson. We're on the front row now, and it is a real mixed bunch here. Crafar is closest to us. Next up is 2 times winner so far today, Rob McElnay. Then it's the injured John Reynolds next to his teammate, Brian Morrison. So, this is going to be a real battle. 15 laps this race is over, and believe me, Rob Mac may have taken it for the first 2 races, but this one is going to be a real toughie. And they're off. So then, who's going to make the whole shot? Let's have a look and see who makes it to the front. Now it looks like a Kawasaki. And it is Brian Morrison from his teammate, the injured John Reynolds, from Jim Moody. No, it's not. It's from McElnay from Jim Moody. So McElnay sneaks into 3rd place. But it's the flying Brian Morrison off the front. McElnay then goes underneath John Reynolds. McElnay now through the second. Although this is over 15 laps, he won't want to let Morrison get away. Morrison, remember, won this race last year. McElnay, remember, he fell off and set a fastest lap here last year, which was a lap record. Joey Dunlop, last man through the field. Joey Dunlop then, the last man at the back of this field. To the hairpin for the first time. "14 laps to go. Morrison leads. From McElnay, from John Reynolds, from Jim Moody. That's your first 4. The rest of them stream over the line. They've got a long way to go. It's going to be a tough race. And I just hope my throat holds out for the whole of this race, because it has been a cracking day's racing here at Kyrgyzstan, and this is the grand finale. This is the one everybody came here to win. This is the one they all got paid for. So the front runners have already managed to get a big gap. Morrison, McElnay, Reynolds, Moody, Crafar. That is your front runners, and already they have already got a big gap on the 6th, 7th, 8th place men. Down to the hairpin. 13 laps to go. And there it is, you can see the gap. Morrison still leads from McElnay, from Reynolds. Reynolds really a brave fighter here. He had a big crash in his first race today. Then a huge gap as we look back to see who leads that bunch. Back with the leaders, and it's closed up even more. Well, McElnay's right there. 2.5 laps to go then. Morrison really must wonder what he's got to do to hold McElnay off on the last lap, because McElnay is homing in on Morrison. Is McElnay confident enough to take the lead earlier than the last lap? That is the question. And the answer is yes. Well, Morrison, though, sees McElnay overshoot that one. Well, that could be a case of McElnay showing his hand just a little bit too early. 2 laps to go. Morrison leads. No, he doesn't.
Superb move from McElnay on the fastest corner on the course, through Debtor's Dip. McElnay stitches Brian Morrison in finest of styles. McElnay leads then. We have 1.5 laps to go. McElnay, the winner of the earlier 2 senior races, leads the Sunflower feature race, and we only have 1.5 laps to go. Through the chicane, McElnay leads. Morrison is second. Down towards the hairpin. Well, it's my view, and it's only my view, that at the hairpin on a braking manoeuvre, Big Mac's got to come out favourite. But there again, Brian Morrison is no slouch. I make this the last lap then. They're on to the last lap now. McElnay leads from Morrison. On the last lap, McElnay leads from Morrison. While back down the road is Crapar, from Reynolds, from Moody, from Laycock. That's the order for the later ones. Through Colonial. There's Colonial 2, out towards Fisherman's, the fast right-hander. Rob McElnay seemingly has this one completely sewn up. Can Brian Morrison sneak it on the last lap? He has only 1/2 lap to go. Just the chicane now to negotiate. Anybody makes a mess in this corner, and that's what it's going to be all about, down to the hairpin. And Rob Mack lines himself up and launches down the straight. Can the Kawasaki pass on the straight? I take a deep breath. Morrison looks at it. Morrison does it. Morrison does it. Will he make a mistake? Will my voice hold out? That's the question. So then, Morrison is going to take the Sunflower for the 2nd consecutive year. Brian Morrison wins, brilliantly judged from Rob McElnay. Absolutely unbelievable.